Hey everyone, I'm Chris Os.
And I'm Aos, and this is the Aos-to-Aos podcast.
Got an exciting show for you guys today. We're going to talk about how to kick life's ass. If you want to know more, we'll see you after this.
See you after this. Hope you guys enjoy the episode. Wait for a second. Hey everybody, how's it going today? Welcome back to the Aos-to-Aos podcast. Today we're talking about how to kick life's ass. This is a topic that I've been kind of interested in a while, and I know that both of us have been interested in a while because we're interested in people like David Goggins and Jocko Wilkins and just people who give it their all and really kick life's ass and are able to push themselves to limits that normal people can't do. And I think that's what's really intriguing about these people. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, David Goggins. I mean, he's just someone that he's so impactful, so motivated. His story's a great story. A lot of people might not have heard of Jocko. Is it Wilkins or Wilnick? But anyway, him and his partner, they were in the military together, and after the military, they took everything they learned in the military about leadership and motivation, and they actually started their own company. And that they go and they speak to businesses and they speak to high school students and all that kind of stuff. And if you haven't heard of them, they're amazing. You got to check them out.
Yeah, they're pretty good. So I don't know too much about them, but I did hear some inspirational stories and things like that. So the first thing we have here, and this is, Jocko Wilkins or Wilnick. I'll have to look that up. I can't remember his name, and then David Goggins. They both exercise and push their limits. David Goggins, if you read his book, you know that he pushes his limits because he pushed himself to the point where he was almost dying quite a few times. And so, that's the first thing. I don't want people to push themselves to the point where they're dying, but you definitely need to push your limits when you're exercising. This builds mental and physical toughness. When you think that you're going to be giving up, like when you're running and you think that you need to give up or you're getting tired and you think you're going to quit, you're actually only at 60% of what you can actually do. So you have 40 more left to give. And that's not like when it gets hard and you're like, oh, I need to give up. That's when you literally think you cannot go any longer. You're at 60% of your potential. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
That is pretty interesting. And, some people out there might kind of look at that and think that, well, that's just a made up number. But if you think about it, you think about people who are like stuck in the wilderness or, are in an accident or something like that, that extra little bit of power that they can draw out of there. I mean, you've heard stories about people who were lost in the wilderness for like 3 days and after a day they thought they were going to die. And then somewhere from deep down within, they found that extra power, to walk another 30 miles to find civilization. That's that extra 40% that they're talking about. That's that stuff that's deep down inside you. And unless you have that like strong need for that or that strong desire, you're never going to be able to access that. So that's, you got to look at that in a different perspective.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's different too. Like we're using it in the kind of sense of exercise, but it's in everything. You know what I mean? Like if you're working really hard at school or at a business or anything, and you're ready to give up, you're at 60% of what you're going to be giving. You know what I mean? So how much, like that 40% could be the difference between success and failure. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I like to use in my day-to-day life when I'm ready to give up. Think about that 40% that I'm willing to give. Is that going to be the difference between success and failure? And am I going to leave something on the table if I don't give that 40% and things like that? So that's kind of like what I like to think about. But another thing with exercise is that it gives you like a sense of satisfaction. So after you're done a long workout, you feel a sense of accomplishment and a sense of almost like a meditative relaxation state in a way. And you're able to, I think, do more if you exercise and push your limits. Like the other day I went for a run, and then when I got back from my run, I read a book. And I'm actually going to be switching up my routine. Usually I read before I go for a run, but now I'm going to run or exercise, but now I'm going to exercise before I read my book, because it gives you such a like a meditative state, and you're able to kind of like get more information into your system, and when you're reading things, not have to go back over the things that you just read to kind of remember them if your brain's going in different directions and things like that. So I think that's a really good byproduct of exercising and pushing your limits, as well as you're able to really take in a lot of information because you're just so focused and so mentally at peace.
That's a really interesting concept. I mean, I can understand it because, I mean, after a workout or after a good day's work, I always feel that same kind of feeling, almost like I've kind of talked about this in the past about how, I would rather be physically tired than mentally tired, because when you're mentally tired, you're just tired. You think all day, you do your job, whatever it is, and at the end of the day, your brain is just tired. You don't feel like doing anything. But if I do something physical, like physical work or, exercise or out swimming or something like that, I feel the same amount of being tired, but it's different. You feel relaxed, and I don't know if it's a mental thing or if it's just a physiological thing, but I can see the same thing with reading. It's something I guess I'll have to try.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's scientifically proven. Like if you exercise, you release endorphins. You know what I mean? Like these, like it helps you to, it actually creates a physical, chemical reaction in your body that will help you relax. So it's scientifically proven. So people that kind of doubt that can check out the study and things like that and learn for themselves. So the next thing I have here is, do never put off tomorrow what can be done today. This is one thing that I've had to work past. I'm sure you've had to work past it, and I'm sure everyone listening has had to work past it. But putting off what can be done today is a terrible, terrible thing that you can do for yourself as an entrepreneur, yourself as, even if you're just going into a career, if you're going to be, doing school, all that kind of stuff. Putting off tomorrow what can be done today is basically like saying, today I'm not going to be a hard worker. I'm going to do that till the last minute. And that does one of a couple things. If you put off tomorrow what can be done today, what's stopping you tomorrow from putting it off tomorrow? You're just extending the pain, extending the stress. We actually talked about this yesterday, that I think action is the cure to stress. I think that, when you put things off that are stressing you out, let's say that you need to clean your kitchen, or you need to, let's just go with cleaning the kitchen. So you need to clean the kitchen, that's stressing you out. You say, I'll do it tomorrow, I'm busy today. So when tomorrow comes, the dishes have stacked up a little bit more and you're more stressed out. So you can either do it now, or you can put it off till tomorrow again, which is what most people do. So they put it off till tomorrow, and it gets a little higher, and then they're even more stressed out. And so this keeps going on until the point where you're so stressed out you have to deal with it. But if you dealt with it in the first place, you wouldn't have felt the stress you're feeling now, or the stress you felt for the last 7 days. So action, doing the dishes when you have to, is the cure to stress, in my opinion. And of course, there's going to be stressors that you can't control in your life, but you can definitely control how you feel about those things. So, your car blows up. You're not going to be able to control that necessarily, but you can control how you feel about it. Thank God I wasn't in the car. Now I get to buy a new car. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like you can control how you feel, and you can definitely control your action towards those stressors and things like that. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, that's really good advice, and it's something that a lot of people have to put into perspective, and I think that it's something that also, as you put it into practice, I mean, you're not going to actually, it's not really going to sink into people until they put it into practice. I mean, someone can be sitting on the other side of the screen right now and thinking, well, that doesn't work for me. Well, you know what? If you put it into practice, you're going to see that it will work for you. One of the things that you mentioned as well when we were talking about this was that treating every day as if it was your last day. I think that a lot of people out there need to get a little bit of urgency in their life, because what stops you from saying, I'm going to do this tomorrow, or, if we apply it to business, what's going to say, well, I'm going to, grow my business tomorrow. I'm going to promote my business tomorrow. You need to start treating every day as if it's your last day on earth. If tomorrow all of a sudden something happened, where's your business going to be? Where's your YouTube channel going to be? Are you going to be able to weather a storm? Like if you had to take a week off, would you be able to keep your momentum going? So, if you treat every day as if it's your last day on earth, and you work ahead, you're going to be, you're going to have that ability to, be able to step back for a week, 2 weeks, or a month, and have your business or your, YouTube channel or your whatever it is that you're doing carry on while you're busy doing other stuff in life.
Yeah, for sure. That's one thing that really keeps me motivated, is the fact that you're going to die one day, like everyone's going to die one day. I can either go ahead and do what I got to do, or I can be stressed about that and just be a loser my whole life, or I can go out and make something happen and, be able to look at my life when it does end, because it's going to end for everybody. You got to accept that. When it does end, be able to look back and say, that was a good life. Now I'm ready to pass on, go to heaven. You know what I mean? So definitely that's something that really motivates me. And it's another thing too, to look into the future. Like if you're thinking about, if you don't want to think about death, like just accept death and know that it's going to happen one day. But you can think about the future. You don't have to think about death all the time. You can think about the future. Think, if I start today, where will I be in a year? You know what I mean? I saw this picture on Instagram. It said, a year ago you started working out, now you have a nice body. A year ago you started your YouTube channel, now you have thousands of subscribers. A year ago you started your business, and now it's your main income. A year ago you did this, and now it's this. And then it said at the bottom, just kidding, you were too afraid to start. And that kind of like resonated with me, because if you really think about it, like we started this channel how long ago? Probably almost a year ago, right? It was about then. And just our last video that we 2 videos ago, I think, got 1,000 views, and that would have never happened if we didn't start a year ago. And so I think that's pretty interesting too, to think about where you could be in a year, where you could be in 2 years, and where you would be now if you started 2 or 3 years ago. I think that's pretty interesting. So the next thing I have too is dream big and don't let anybody tell you no. I think a perfect example of this is Elon Musk, and he did something just a couple days ago that had never been done before in history. He sent astronauts. He's the first private company to send astronauts to the International Space Station, or in space in general. The first person to do that in history. He's in the history books forever now. And it all started with Zip2, PayPal, Tesla, and all the people that told him he couldn't do it. And so I think that's interesting. He didn't let people tell him no, and now he is in history for the rest of his life, or for the rest of eternity and things like that, as the person who got people to space. And he's probably going to set some more records in his lifetime, because I think he is a very highly motivated person who doesn't let people tell him no.
Absolutely. I kind of get goosebumps when I think about watching that the other day. What a epic moment. So it's I mean, I don't think people really understand the gravity of it. I mean, it took our, government and unlimited money and unlimited capital, there was no spending limits, and for our government to get people into space. And here is a private businessman who just kind of started dreaming big and came up with this big idea and said, hey, I can do it better than the government can do it. I'm going to, put this together. And now he succeeded. 9 years. I mean, the first time in 9 years, we've put astronauts into space. I think it was a really good thing for our country right now, when everyone with this coronavirus and our new way of living, everyone's kind of feeling a little bit beat down. Well, all of a sudden now we have this, this great new future. And I think it's actually allowing a lot of people to dream big and say, okay, we're okay. And, our future looks bright and all this kind of stuff. I'm looking forward to when Elon Musk and SpaceX, take it to the next level. They talked, during the launch, there was a little bit of talking about, their long-term plans and, looking at a moon mission in, 4 to 6 years and, eventually doing the Mars mission. I mean, putting people on Mars. I mean, what what an amazing accomplishment that would be. This was great for the whole country.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think it's great for the whole world too, because we're moving into a different age of, I think it's almost like, I think Elon Musk is the new Christopher Columbus in a way, I think you could call him, just because he's, discovering a whole new universe. I mean, we know it's there, but it's now possible. If you think about when people would try to run a 4-minute mile, nobody could run a 4-minute mile. It was impossible, basically. And then one person ran a 4-minute mile, and then it was broken the next year, and it was broken again and again and again. So, he kind of broke that barrier to space, and now people think it's possible, and so we're going to be skyrocketing way ahead. I think that's going to be a really interesting time to live in. So
yeah. And this is a kind of a neat analogy too, like that people can apply to their lives. I mean, this was a struggle as a company and as a country that, everyone said was impossible, and he just kind of pushed through. And I mean, if people applied that same concept to their lives, when people tell you can't do this, because I mean, we all have detractors out there. We all have people in our lives that are saying, hey, you can't do that, or, that's, how many times have you heard, I appreciate, your vision, but I don't think that that's actually going to work, and then people like Elon Musk just push through and make it happen.
Yeah, like I said, it's most people probably want to bring them down to their level. That's one thing. We have the next topic here is going to be getting negative stuff out of your life, but we'll get to that in a minute. I think people want to bring you down to their level. Gary Vaynerchuk said something really interesting. It's I want to build the tallest building around by building the tallest building around, but most people want to build the tallest building around by tearing everyone else's building down. So I thought that was really interesting, kind of words that he used for that, because that's what most people want to do. They want to take Elon Musk, who's this, he created SpaceX, Tesla, and he's breaking barriers, creating history and just like doing everything to the maximum potential that he can. And I think that the majority of people who knew him or know him could possibly want to tear him down and say, that's too hard, it's too tough, and things like that. But he has this like definitely self-actualization where he knows that he wants to complete all this kind of stuff, and that he wants to move forward and do all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of how I want to live more, is get the negativity out of your life. So ignore negativity, push past the limitations, and you have one life to live. Use it wisely. I think it was Capricious, said that a man has 2 lives. The second one starts when he realizes he only has one. How about that?
That's
pretty interesting. Pretty interesting quote. And basically what that means is a man has 2 lives. The one is the one you're living, and the second one is the one that you live on purpose, and you live the second one when you only realize you have one life. And so I thought that was pretty interesting topic, or kind of like a quote by him. So get that negative shit out of your life. In order to kick life's ass, you need to get the negative stuff out of your life, because and that's not only negative people. Like I talked about, people who want to bring you down, but that could be yourself as well. You got to get those negative thoughts out of your own mind and think, I can do it instead of I can't do it, or how can I do it instead of I can't, or what will I require to make this happen, stuff like that. You can change your own thoughts to be less negative and be more positive, so you can actually really push the limits of what your brain can do. This is why I think that it's important to exercise as well, because when you feel like you're going to throw up, or you feel like you're going to quit and things like that, and then you push past that expands your mind. And I don't remember who said it, might have been Albert Einstein, but he said once the mind is expanded, it can never go back to its original form. And so I think that's pretty interesting. I'm constantly trying to expand my mind, because I want to get to the point where, you're never going to know everything, but I want to just collect as much information as I possibly can about everything. That's basically one of my goals in life, is to do that. So I think getting the negative thoughts out of your mind and expanding your mind is really important in kicking life's ass for sure.
Kind of brings up an interesting concept too. I mean, like, because when you said that, like once your mind expands, it can never go back to the same form. Some people might argue with that and say, well, I've seen people go back and forth, but, it makes you, I guess, have to think about it in a different perspective. Like if your mind goes back to the point where it was before, was it ever really truly expanded? That's, I think that would be kind of part of the whole concept is actually, being honest with yourself and, actually truly expanding your mind instead of just, adding ideas to it, expanding your mind instead of just, thinking that you're expanding your mind by, repeating what other people say, getting that, expansion actually down in your heart and believing in it. So yeah, just something to chew on there too.
Yeah, and I think I'll go back to like the David Goggins example. My mic's going crazy right now, but basically, like David Goggins is one of the hardest people that I've ever heard of. You know what I mean? Like he really works hard and he really expands his mind and things like that. The thing about him though is he really does it. He really goes out and runs 100-mile races, only having training over the weekend. You know what I mean? He really does that kind of stuff. And then the majority of people basically just talk. They're like, yeah, you got to work hard, but they don't know what that is. They have no clue what hard work even is. They're like, yeah, you gotta give it your all, but they've never given it their all one time in their life. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Most people just talk. Most people want to say, and it's never more evident than today when you see people who really want to be entrepreneurs. So they get on to like Instagram and they create their influencer profile and they get in their suit and they're like, you can work hard too. I'm here in Hawaii and I've worked hard. It's like, then why are you popping up on my YouTube, trying to sell me something? You know what I mean? Like, how hard did you really work if you're trying to sell me on your hard work? Yeah, I don't know. But I think that it's really the difference between talking out of your ass and really doing it. I think an example of what I was kind of talking about was also, if you eat pepperoni pizza, since you're a kid, but one day you learn pepperoni pizza is not good for you, then you're never going to look at pepperoni pizza the same way. You might eat it. You might, you might expand your mind to the fact that, pepperoni pizza isn't good for you, but you might still eat it. So really you expanded your mind, but you really didn't apply it. Or you can learn pepperoni pizza is not good for you and never touch the stuff again because you know it'll kill you. You know what I mean? So that you really expanded your mind then if you apply the things that you learned to life and things like that. And that's really expanding your mind. The people that don't expand their mind and people that you think that you hear of that, learn a lot, read a lot of books, and are these entrepreneurs that are on, YouTube and Instagram just talking out of their ass basically, they basically expand their mind and then don't change stuff. You know what I mean? They just talk because they have a big game and things like that, and they want to be successful, but they don't want to put in the work and actually be successful. But they know the knowledge for sure. They can say, pepperoni pizza is terrible for you. Don't eat pepperoni pizza. Pick up a slice of pepperoni pizza and eat it. You know what I mean? Like, is that making sense?
It does. And I mean, I think it goes back, there's that old adage that says that those who can do and those who can't teach. And I mean, it's kind of, It's kind of tongue in cheek, but I mean, honestly, it is true on more levels than, we want to believe. I mean, we don't want to say stuff like that and be considered negative, but the truth is that, and it's not really a negative thing because a lot of people think they have to succeed, and if there's no success, that's it. But I mean, like, people have to get into the mindset where success comes in different levels. So if you can't be successful as an entrepreneur, but man, all the details and you're motivational and all that kind of stuff, but you can't start a business to save your life, well, maybe you can teach other people to start a business, and maybe that's going to be your business. And, maybe you just need to reframe your, what you understand as a successful entrepreneur into something else. And maybe that's a teaching business. Maybe that's one of these, Amazon guys or one of these ClickBank guys. Maybe that's what, you need to reframe your business into instead of trying to start a ClickBank business or trying to start an Amazon business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely a market for teachers, and if that's their dream, sure. But personally, I think that if you're that good at it, people will come to you. I guess I don't know. I don't want to knock on people's dreams and everything, uh, but there's definitely something to be said about working instead of telling people how to work. So, but do you have anything else to add to that?
No, I think you pretty much covered everything.
Yeah, sure. So I think we can wrap it up then.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the content today.
Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I don't know what that was about, but you guys go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Go ahead and comment if you want us to talk about anything else, or if you just want to make a comment. We'll probably, we don't get many comments, so we'll probably be responding to you. So go ahead and do that. And then, yeah, like I said, make sure to subscribe. It really helps us out to grow our YouTube channel, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. And once you subscribe, make sure to click that bell icon so you're notified when we upload new videos. Really, really thankful you guys joined us today. Hope you enjoyed the content. We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Hope you subscribe and hope you enjoy the content.